Winner, chicken dinner. That felt good. That felt good. I'll put it that way. Needed it. I don't mind the way it fizzled out. Got sloppy. Q in the rack after what we did in that third quarter. But hey, fan cams or post game show, whatever you want to call it. Let's get you in, guys. I want to hear from you all. Ooh yeah. The demise of Dan Gorringe is sad. It's very sad. It is very sad, but I'm here for it. I'm certainly here for the meltdown. Jump in. Have a word. Late night, Thursday night, guys, so I appreciate you all being here. Oh, feeling good. Champs, what do we think? Late third round pick for Cripps just to add some good depth to the VFL. I like that. Kynan, ready, brother? Let's do it, mate. Let's do it. Talk to me.
Oh my God, on again. Lucky Schultz. He's my boy. And you doubted him. No, can't do it. Dude, bro, those first two quarters was rough. it was a rough start, but mate, that third quarter, that was good. That made me feel a little bit better. I was thoroughly impressed with the boys past halftime. I think Darcy Moore started to come into his own at the end there. It was good.
Yeah. Yep. Darcy was solid. A bunch of spoils, couple marks.
For sure.
Did the job.
Our kicking accuracy, on the other hand, ooh. It was rough. At times, it was rough. But conditions
I felt
wet.
like watching Kynan. Sorry, I was just going to say, I felt like, and I just want you to clarify, just watching it from the ground, it didn't seem like TDK was overly impressive versus DC.
No, he kind of got rolled the whole time in the ruck. Oh, I'll be honest. He kind of didn't do much from like the aerial view. Anyway, he didn't really do anything when he rucked. He'd win, but then he would mess the hit out up, and then we would end up turning it over.
Interesting.
So he would win the contest, but he would fail on the tap out, not hitting it to advantage to their own midfielders. Okay. Like DC was doing. At least that's my take. I don't know if anyone else disagrees, but I mean, Cripps, he's
TDK was trying to use his strength, but DC had his measure. It seems like people in the chat are pretty happy with the outcome of it between TDK and
also,
DC.
every time I noticed, every time I noticed with Tom de Koning, it was like every time he would go into like the throw up, he would smack Darcy Cameron as hard as he could in the back with like a closed fist. He would just bang him in the back. I don't know why he did it. It was so random. It was weird. I mean, what can you say? Lockie Schultz is just he's a gun. He's a freak. He's my boy. I've been a day oneer, and you should know this. Day oneer from Schultz from last year. And none of you believed in him, but I did. Hey, let me ride this high horse. Don't give me that look.
No, he's been good. He's been very good.
Yeah.
More than good. He's been very good, man.
What did you rate Billy Frampton?
Frampton was like at least an 8. At least an 8 in the role he
did his for sure. Yeah. Good. Because one of my mates hates Frampton with all his guts. Hates him with all his guts. Can't ever give him a compliment, and it's really funny. Okay, it's good. I'm glad some people
Look,
have seen it.
I've said some harsh things. I've said some harsh things about Billy Frampton as well. But tonight he's given himself a bloody good opportunity in the next 4 to 6 weeks to really solidify that spot. But you notice, like when that second half in particular, and at times throughout duress, like when we're set up well as a team, and we have our key pillars behind the ball set up,
it's very hard to get out of our 50. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just that wall of black and white that they can't breach.
The
And
pressure was immense.
we need to stop putting Ned Long as the sub. Why do we put him as the sub? I don't like him as a sub. I want him to start on the ground.
Who are you going to put there instead?
I don't know. Honestly, it depends. I think Geordie did good in the front line. I don't know. I think he's a bit out from his best. I would say in the midfield, he still seems a little bit wary to go into contests. But Ned Long, he's just he's just always in there, going hard. It's good to see. I love it. Yeah. I mean,
and to go, he's still working his way back, but he's kicked 2 goals, clutch. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing forward line for half of the game, so can't diss him there. He did a good job down there. I'm just, I mean, Membry had a bit of a quiet one. Checkers played really well, besides a few shocking kicks. But I mean, yeah, the whole team just played really well. I'm not sure about that Dan Houston bump, but we'll see what happens there. From my angle, it looked like he was going for the bump and he ducked the last second, but I don't know what they're going to do for probably 3 weeks. Probably 3 weeks, yeah.
He's in some strife.
It's so dumb. I mean, it was a good game. First half was a rough watch, but we pulled it around. It was good to see, and I'm glad Schultz is finally getting some recognition.
That's it.
That's the main takeaway. That's the main takeaway. I'm gonna go to bed because I'm very tired.
Thanks, Carlton. Appreciate it, brother.
One, lads.
Take care.
GG's up the pies.
Stay, mate. He's an energy fuzzball, isn't he? Steve-O, good to go, brother. Let's do it. I'll get you in. How you going, man? Welcome.
Yeah, not too bad, Chris. How you going?
Good, mate. Good, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. A bit crook, but not too bad. How's the atmosphere at the G tonight?
It was a little bit nervy. Like for the first half, it was quiet. Firstly, and I think both, I guess, sides of the fan base were waiting for something to happen, and nothing really happened. No one really threw punches until the third quarter. From there, I mean, in a space of 10, 15 minutes, Steve-O, the game was taken out of their hands, and mate, the fourth quarter it felt like it was just like they just were there for the final quarter because it had to be played out, and that's what it was.
Yeah, I know he probably didn't get much stats for him tonight, but I think Perriman had a big game tonight on Cripper.
Yeah, mate. Fuck. I know Cripps was quiet. Without looking at the numbers, Cripps was quiet. So the lads in the mid did the job on him. And Perriman got a goal of his own as well. Had some really crucial smothers, tackles. I mean, he's done well tonight. I reckon this is his best game, Pez.
I reckon he was just vital around stoppages tonight.
Yeah. I think his goal may have came from a forward 50 stoppage, which is somewhere Carlton is actually struggling a little bit with their stoppage work inside their D50. They conceded a couple last week against Footscray, and they did the same thing tonight. So that seems to be an issue for them.
Yeah, it was nice to see Darcy Moore sort of lead from the front tonight, 8 intercept marks or 8 intercepts, and sort of led from the front. So it's good to see. It's good for the future, I guess.
100%. I mean, look at him from the game. There were contests in the air which I thought he wouldn't have been able to mark, but he was still able to impact that contest with some of his spoils, and he cleared the boundary quite quite easily with his purchase on the ball. So it was really good for someone like Darcy Moore to have that type of game for some continuity, I think.
Yeah, so just sort of a special shout out to Lockie Schultz too for like how much crap he sort of received from the media and all of that, and just putting in effort week in, week out, and he gets that return. Sort of glad to see it for him.
It's good, man. He obviously he didn't get any instant gratification last year coming over to Collingwood, and he had some form struggles, but like you said, he persevered, and he's had to wait near on 12 months to come back in the black and white in the following year to get his flowers, and he's getting that at the moment, which is good for him.
So it looks like Dan Houston might be looking for a bit of a vacation for 2 weeks somewhere.
Yeah, maybe Barley with maybe we'll take Geordie to go with him for a little bit, but just we'll keep Geordie on a leash while he's in Bali though.
All right, Chance, I'll first keep this nice short and sweet because, like I said, I'm pretty crook, but I just want to say good day. And I couldn't stop laughing when I seen your Instagram post tonight. Bloody loved it.
You're right, Steve. You're the man.
All right,
Get well soon, brother. All right. Yeah, man. Take care, Steve. Jeez, guys, I've just realised very late on in that fan cam there, Steve. That's Steve O'Sana from the chat. I couldn't tell because the vision wasn't clear. But Steve-O, sorry, man. I had no idea who you were for a second. Shout out, man. That guy's a legend. He's always in the chat. Greatness. Ready to go, my man? With the green screen, let's do it.
Yep. Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just got back from the game, and here we are. How are you?
Yeah, no, in pretty good spirits. I feel like, I feel like this season's been a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, can't say last week because we had a bye, but yeah, 2 weeks ago, sort of had a bit of a win, but a bit of a had the scrap for it, and yeah, this win is sort of. Obviously there was a lot of scrap in this game, but I'm just glad that we're regardless on the quality of the game, we're still winning. So don't think I can really be complaining, and even to see guys like Penalbury play the way that he did to wind the clock back. If someone told you he was 37, I don't think you'd be able to tell with the way he was playing and how he was going. Just overall, just pretty positive with how the season is going, but also, I think I'm just like, and I know it's super early, but I'm just ready for the business end of the season, like finals, things like that. So I think that's just where I stand. Is obviously week to week I'll be seeing with how the players will be going form wise, but all in all, seeing Schultz play the way that he has, he's been amazing. Sometimes it can take 12 months for a guy to set into the club and stuff. So, I don't think you can question his spot in the side anymore because he's been amazing. Then I guess there's like others like Cameron. I mean, Cameron has been amazing this season too, kicking off the way that he did last season as well. So. Sometimes you can have guys that will spike up and, then they sort of fall away a bit. He obviously hasn't done that. So, pretty appreciative about that. And, everything's in pretty good stead. Only thing, because I know I think it was the previous guy said as well too, with like Long and stuff. We needed to have Long in the best 22 and not be sub. Especially when it was wet conditions and it was a lot more of a contested game. I was very surprised we went with Long as the sub because he seemed to be not only the difference when he came onto the ground, but from a matchup point of view, it just seemed way too obvious that he should have started. So, without going too much further, that's basically my thoughts.
Got the win. Like you said, that's the most important thing. Winning while not playing entirely well. I think that third quarter was exquisite. It was really, really satisfying to see that at the game. I think there was just a lot of nerves going into that game, and you could feel it. And it was a weird feeling even during the game. I can't explain it. Like I'm not sure if you guys would have felt it at home, but if for those who were at the game, just the ambience was weird. Is it the Thursday night? I don't know, but in the end, we get the win.
I think it's also coming off the bye, because we spoke because we speak about like 6-day breaks, and 6-day breaks aren't like the worst thing in the world, especially when you get to the later end of the season. But when you're starting off, 6-day breaks are actually pretty. You do have to make sure like your preparations are pretty spot on for the first like say 6 to 8 weeks. So the fact that we had, I think it was 3 games in it was either 12 or 13 days. I just thought that obviously we got through that, and then we're sort of coming on the other side where we've had I think what was it 13 days before the last game, where I think we went from having not enough preparation to I think too much preparation or too much time to prepare. Because I don't know if the stat is still valid now, but there was a stat where I think teams coming off the bye, at least it was a couple of years ago, where most teams that would come off the bye would always lose because I don't know the exact theory to it, but you would think that because football is such a, especially with Carlton, because they're a team that relies on their physicality, match conditioning and match fitness. It's not a thing where you can just develop it overnight. So when you have that break or you have that week off, getting back into it, like it's not just. Obviously, we probably made it look a little bit sort of easier than probably what it was. But at the same time, like the fact that we were able to get in there and like our disposal wasn't necessarily great, but all in all, we got the win. We scrapped hard, and in the end, I think we did it pretty comfortably in the end. But I'm just glad that we got the win and stuff, because a lot of teams that go through the situations that we go through coming off the bye, it's very rare that they actually do come off being winners like the next week after a bye. So, I'm just obviously grateful for the fact that Collingwood are doing so well.
It's good to be a part of a side that just always finds a way to be relevant in more years than not. I think that's something we're all, as Collingwood fans, should be grateful and appreciative of. For as long as I can remember, being 97 born, obviously the early or late 90s weren't great, but then going into the early 2000s, we were good. Had a down phase for another 3 or 4 years around that time when we got Pendles in, and then Daisy came in and side bottom, and then Beams, and then we sort of went through that resurgence period, 2010, 2011, 2012, and then again another little dull period up until 2018 and 23, 20, and hopefully another sort of really deep tilt. So I think we should all be pretty stoked that we were born into a black and white family.
Yeah, I mean, I will even say this too. Like, I feel like as much as we should show appreciation for the era that we are like experiencing at the moment, but I think as well too, I do think that there is a lot of really good people, not only that are inside the club, like making the decisions and things like that, but I feel like that there's also a lot of like fans that also have their say as well too, and that also drive the standards even from outside the club. So as much as it is like, what a time and how lucky are we, but I've sort of, I don't know, I don't want to go into like age and stuff because I'm not old really, but I'd like to sort of think that as much as, we are appreciative, I think that all these results are happening for a reason, because there is so many things going in our direction where, you look at from the top down, from everybody at the club, from the president to the CEO to the list manager, coach, players, and even the supporters. I feel like as much as luck does obviously have a part and it does play its part, but I also do think that a lot of it is also I think there is also a much bigger part in the sense that we also do get here for a reason and because of, people's efforts. And it's not just, Nick Dacos that steps on the ground and gets 30 touches every week. It's, it's again like being the club where you can literally go to a ground and it's like, oh, I'm going to the MCG today or tonight and I'm going to go and be a part of an 85,000 crowd. And that's like, on a bad night or a bad day, if you know what I mean, like that's not something that, I feel like you just fall into for luck. Like, there's obviously, there's obviously been building blocks and things that have happened over time that we've actually gotten to that position. So as much as it is, awesome and great we are in that position, and yeah, I'm sure luck and all these like, moving pieces, came all together. But I think there's also a bit of, it sounds weird to say, but like, yeah, there has to be some form of skill with it as well. Because, I mean, you like to just
recruitment,
even when it comes to flags and stuff, you don't just win flags off of luck. Like you win flags by winning games every week, So, yeah,
brilliant. All right, mate. Appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah,
go Pies, and we'll see you next week. I appreciate it.
Yep, we'll do. All right, see ya.
See you, mate. All right. Andreas is driving, but he's been kind enough to join us. Yassel, mate, what did you say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh, nice. Can we finally put to bed the whole Ginivan Schultz debate? Like that whole fiasco, losing Ginivan, getting Schultz, it didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. Because what Schultz offers us is so much more than what Ginivan did. Ginivan just cherry-picked at the back of the pack and lost form. We are, like with Schultz, we are a much better football team, and our pressure around the ball, especially in the forward line at the moment, is second to none. You know what he reminds me of when he's with his tackling pressure? He reminds me of Paul Medhurst.
Hey, that's a throwback.
I'm telling you, man, like that 2008 season, Medhurst was unbelievable, man. Like, even 2007, like his tackling pressure around the forward line, like we've been screaming for that for ages because our small forwards aren't really that. Like Bo McCreary's a tackling beast, but he needs to get more possessions, right, and affect the scoreboard more. Schultz is doing both, and he's not cherry picking at the back of the packs. He's crushing them. He's actually, he makes us a better team. So I'm just glad that he got recognised tonight, and I think the players were as well. But that was my highlight of the night. I think they dragged us down to their bullshit style of play. They dragged us into that hard contested Labour footy. And apart from the first 10 minutes of the third quarter, we I do feel we got sucked into their style a bit, but we beat them at their own game. We beat them the way that they play. And that just proves how shit they are. And I'm not going to hold back anymore. They are a mediocre football club. They're a mediocre football club, and we should have put them away by, I was saying all week, 24 points. With a minute to go, we're 24 points up, and they score that bullshit goal at the end, right? But we should have put them away by 30, 40 points today. Like, we've really got to get our goal kicking, like, fixed up because, it almost cost us against the Bulldogs, and really, the scoreboard was flattering to them, So, I'll take the win. If you had said to me at the pub before the game when we were together, if you had said to me, oh, we're going to win by 17 points today, I would have been like, fucking sweet as, it's called a day, let's go. You know what I mean? But I just feel that we've got a little bit more to give. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep, I feel that.
Because there was a lull. That last quarter, it was frustrating, boring football. They were playing kick to kick across the half-back line, and pretty much in soccer terms, they parked the bus, and it was just like, It was like couldn't be fucked. We were playing lethargic football, and I'm just like, we have a chance to put this side away and literally give Michael Voss like no job tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? And I just feel like we sort of missed that opportunity. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain. My standards are getting a bit higher now. We won, and at least now we've won on a Thursday night, so we can go through the weekend, and we don't have to worry about nothing. And I will put this out there. I genuinely think, and look, Carlton will probably smash West Coast next week by 50 points in gather round. But I genuinely think if Carlton dish up that shit, right, and West Coast just say, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go use, they're an actual shot to beat them next week, right? It might not happen, but that was the most boring opposition I've seen us play against in the last 12 months of football, by far.
It was a weird feeling the whole night, the whole build up. I'll keep referring to it. I don't know. It felt unusual. I don't know if I want to see a Collingwood Carlton on a Thursday night again. I don't know what the feeling is behind that. It's hard to sort of articulate the thoughts, but we get the win. It was tricky conditions as well. Like the weather wasn't great, so to get the win like that and have that real spurt in the third quarter, you can't fault the lads. And the pressure, man, like it starts to shoot up. Breathe around a Collingwood player on that field tonight.
Sorry, what was that last part? You just broke up a bit then. What was that last bit?
I said you couldn't breathe breathe around a Collingwood player tonight. They would probably tackle you if you were that close, if they could feel your breath.
100%. You know, but hey, just quickly, is Ned Long going to be a sub for the rest of the season or not? Because I think he's a little bit too good to be a sub.
He's. I mean, the question is though, is who is the sub in lieu of Ned Long?
Well, in the next couple of games, if they're going to tactically take off Degoe, I would put Degoe as the sub and let Degoe make an impact towards the end of the game, play him in the forward line until he's 100% ready, because there's obviously something not right if they're taking him off like that, right? So I would actually swap it around for gather round and see how we go, because I just think Long offers enough to warrant starting. But, I mean, I don't want Degoe to be a sub, but I'm just saying if they're going to do tacticals, you might as well. Otherwise, Pendlebury or maybe Membry, but, I mean, the forward line's working well at the moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, was it Membry who got us going in the third quarter, and then Nick Dacos out of that centre bounce with Pendlebury? That sended us on our way, didn't it?
Bro, Nick Dacos' first 10 minutes in that third quarter was unbelievable. Like, that guy's a freak, man. Like, it's stupidly good. And Josh was great tonight as well. I thought Josh was fantastic too, yeah? But Nick just took it next level that first 10 minutes. And we literally stole the game from him, because, I'm not going to lie to you, bro, at half time I was thinking, shit, you know, we're letting ourselves down. They're not playing that good. We're just letting ourselves down. Stupid stuff. We're playing their style of footy. That's not us. And then that 10 minutes we played our style of footy. We stole the game from them. And then after that, it was just fucking... it was like a dead rubber. You know what I mean?
Felt like that. But
yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that's all over with. When do we play them next? Andreas, when do we play them next, guys?
Yeah. Sorry, what was that, mate? You're breaking up a bit.
I was just saying, when do we play them next this year? I'm glad we get a bit of respite from that sort of rivalry.
I think it's in. It might be early August. It might be early August.
Okay, Andreas, I've got to let you go. You're chopping out now, but thank you for jumping on.
Good, bro. No worries. Go Pies. Cheers.
Pies. Oh, Benny Parsons.
Hello.
Benny from NZ, how have you been? Hey.
Good, good. Thought I'd make an appearance. It's a special one.
True.
That was
Staying up late.
that was a
What time
tough
is it?
one.
What time is it right now?
1:46.
Damn.
I'm on
Dedication,
holiday
man.
until
I
next
love it.
Wednesday, so it's all good.
Sweet. What did you make of it
Yeah,
all?
that was a tough one. Like watching it on my phone, it was like it looked pretty bad weather-wise. Like, oof, it's like lucky I was inside. I don't know how you felt being there.
Yeah, weird. As I said, weird. I'll tell you. Maybe I'll be able to elaborate on it more tomorrow. The weird feeling. But Pendles and Sidey, they just keep doing their thing. Like Pendles had 30 touches for the first time in nearly a year. I think he hit it early in the
That's
season
crazy.
last year. Before that, he was close.
Yep.
It was close against Footscray as well. He hit 30, and he's hit 30 today. And some of the things, like, you know what I noticed, Ben, watching. What was most impressive about watching the Pies in being at the G was how organized they were off the ball, blocking off the corridor for any dangerous kicks, and just the pressure, and when we needed to be clean in that third quarter when it mattered, we did that, and we made them pay, and they just did you feel like, Ben, if we were able to string together a couple goals, they just wouldn't be able to respond? Did you feel that way?
Yes, I definitely did. It was sort of like when it got to like 55 to 30, or sort of like 25 points. It was like, I don't know if they're going to come back from this. It was like, I feel like it's in the bag. I was like, can't believe I'm saying that. Like, with so many close games we've had in the past, like 2-3 years, is like 25 points up in those conditions. It's like, I know they always say it's good to like if you're like 3 or 4 goals up in those wet conditions, it's closer to like 6-7 goals up. So it's sort of like when it got to that margin, I thought, like, we've actually got this in the bag. It was like, I mean, the fourth quarter they got a few goals, which is a bit but it was I took notes.
Come on.
I said the
Come
second
on.
quarter they were moving the ball better. Carlton, they were like moving the ball really well, and it's like really frustrating, but they weren't able to maximize on that. And then the third quarter, like first bounce, like straight away, it was like, oof, this is going to be interesting. And it's like, because the commentary, they were saying exactly what you said. Like, they were so organized in defense. Like, they talk about the experience, like the oldest. Was it the oldest playing? I forget what the thing was. Not the oldest playing side in VFA AFL history or something like that, or like combined games or something, which is crazy. It just showed.
Wow.
Because Carlton had no idea what to do. Like, we locked the ball in the forward 50 and they just could not get it out. It was just like,
Yeah.
It was like we just put like, they use the term blanket. We put a blanket over them, really. And it was like, I don't know. They've got a lot of problems. I mean, if the only thing we can complain about is accuracy, then I'd rather complain about accuracy, because I would assume it's fixable in game or on the training track or whatever. So, yeah. And the last few guys have talked about Ned Long. I did see the press conference, Flyers press conference. I won't spoil it if you want to see it for yourself, but he said something interesting about Ned Long. So I'll keep it at that. What does you want me to say?
No. Spill the beans. What do you say?
No, he said, he was really good, and like on the back of that, he might not be sub, like he would be like starting.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, this is good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well, that's good.
And they were gonna fly. They were gonna play, gather round, and then fly straight to Brisbane, which is interesting. spend a whole week up in Brisbane preparing for the Easter game against the Lions.
Are we
So,
playing? Yeah, well, so that's Easter Thursday. Are we playing Saturday next week?
Friday, I think,
So 6-day
and
break.
then they'll fly to
Play
Brisbane
Thursday
for
night.
the Easter game.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So you'd probably just assume that one of the older lads will probably go through and get rested. Whether that's some people in the chat, they're throwing Jordan De Goey up there. A couple Pendleburys. I mean, whichever way you go, it's what do you do? Probably not something we need to worry about right now, but I'm sure once we consider like matchups, and then there's probably going to be a conversation about who comes in for Houston because he's going to have a little holiday himself, isn't he?
well, there's a guy called Oleg Markov. I know he's not everyone's favorite, but he's serviceable.
Yeah. He's healthy now. He's back to fitness. So I reckon Sunday will be a really good look in for a lot of the players. I reckon, TJ, Jacob Ryan, Will Parker, Markov, like you said, they'll all be licking their lips. They'll be like, hold on, I might be a chance here. All of them.
Yeah. I said on my notes, I hope it's a week, like only 1 week, but sort of looking back at it, it's like, he did like actually
Doesn't look good.
bump him, yeah. But they're trying to stamp
Doesn't
out
look
the action. So, yeah. But
like if he was to get
not the prettiest performance, but really good game. Pardon?
No, you go ahead. You're good.
I was just saying, not the prettiest performance, but a performance that's needed to happen. That needed to. It's sort of like when you have a weaker opposition, you need to like put the foot on the throat, and I think we did that tonight against Carlton. So, really, really good performance. I can go to sleep happy. So that's good.
It's good. It's good. Peter G says Hill needs a wake-up call. He's been quiet this year, Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
I think one of the conversations throughout this week, Ben, might be if you had a priority list, and maybe I'll put it out to the chat now while you guys are here. If you had a priority list and who you would like signed in order first, you've got DC, you've got Bruzzy and Bobby. In what order is your priority there?
DC, because Mason Cox the only other proper ruckman that we have. DC is a top 3 ruckman in the league, I think. Brazzy second. I'd say Bobby third. I still think he offers something different, like goal assists. Plus, he's so quick. Well, I think the pace that he has, I think if he was out of the side, we'd miss it, I think. So, but I would say DC, Brazzy, Hill.
So Bobby Hill signed him up last.
Third, yes. That's my take.
The euphemism, third, not last. I like it. Smart. No, I probably agree with you, Benny. Like DC seems to be a no-brainer. Just Bruzzy, I think Bruzzy knows he's in a contract year and he's really making it hard for us to not give him what he wants, whatever that might be. Bobby Hill, we can talk trade capital with him at some point going to Perth if that does go down that way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We've just got to enjoy what we sort of saw tonight.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
Nah, happy days. Benny, it's good to see you again, mate. I missed your face.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's been interesting time, but yeah, I thought I'd jump on this one, and big game, big opposition. So I wonder how long the Blue Abroad fan cams are going to go on for. Might go on all night, I think, with the amount of people they wanted. I don't know.
So I said hi.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, Benny. I'll leave you with it, brother.
Sweet. Good to see you, mate.
Take care, bro. You too. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Kev. From
What's
one
up,
favourite
mate?
to the next. How are ya?
Yeah, very good win, mate. Very good win. Honestly thought that first half we should have kicked a little bit more accurately. We should have been like 34 goals in front, at least. But having said that, the third quarter we just turned it on, and even though we kicked a goal in the last quarter, I thought we did enough. Maybe just needed one more goal before it was over. But yeah, I enjoyed the win tonight. Round two, 2021 was the last time we played Carlton on the Thursday night, and we actually won. So yeah,
Oh, we have played them on a Thursday night.
yeah, and that's when I had basketball back then too. So yeah, that's when that was Pommy's last game, going to the G, and that was their home game too. So yeah, brings back good memories. Considering that Mychek played in that game, Sidebottom, Pendlebury, I think Mason Cox as well. So no, it was a really good win. I like the game from Josh Staples. I thought he was good tonight. Darcy Cameron played really well. Took some really good intercept marks. Billy Frampton did a number job on Charlie Kerner and held him really well. And I just thought our whole defense really stood up under a lot of pressure as well. So yeah, uh, that's one. It was a really good performance. We could have won by a lot more, but it did rain, so you have to factor that in as well.
It was weird, wasn't it, Kev? It felt like for 5 minutes it was raining, for 5 minutes it wasn't.
Yes.
Clearly it affected the game, but what we saw, Kev, was the cleanest players, I guess, rose to the top in these situations where it's greasy and any double grabs or fumbles, you get found out quite quickly in wet weather footy. And I think in that third quarter, Pendles, Nick, Geordie, Steele, like they were so clean with the
The
ball
usual.
in tough
Yeah.
conditions. The usual.
What do you thought of the jumper clash? Because that was hard to tell at times. The way that the turnovers were happening as well. I don't know what everyone else thought, but I definitely did felt like it was a bit confusing at times, especially the jumpers. But
You know
yeah,
what? Whoever it is, Kev, conspiring against us at the Carlton Football Club and trying to get that kick clash going, it doesn't work.
I know. Number 11 Rally
Oh,
Drive.
Kev, you've gone dark.
I'm in a taxi. That's why you can't see me.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
I can see you now. I can see your beautiful face.
Yeah. So I just got a taxi because I just got home. I just got back from the
Okay.
footy. So yeah. Hang on, mate.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, right. I'm going to talk to the chat for a second, Kev. You say what you're going to say, okay? Guys, while Kev is sorting out getting home in the taxi, what are we rating Billy Frampton's game out of 10? We got the player ratings tomorrow at some point, but I'm intrigued to hear out of 10 what you give Billy Frampton's performance. Kev, you can start with that if you're ready to talk.
8.5 out of 10, I think, for his game. The spoils that he did, the marking he took, and just the ability to talk to each other, like allowing Darcy Cameron taking intercept marks, even Darcy Moore. Just the little things that we always thrive on, being as Collingwood fans, that we always talk about. But I did think he would play at least 3 to 5 games. I think he might have to stay in next week against the Swans, potentially. So I don't think you can make a change basically off that. Maybe with Houston you could do Markov or Will Hoskin-Elliott as a potential for like matchup, maybe. But yeah, I think an 8.5 for Billy Frampton, and I think 9 out of 10 for Darcy Cameron tonight for his game.
Yeah, Darcy was outstanding. You make a good point, Kev. Like, one of my biggest gripes with Collingwood last year defensively was we had so many people jumping up for the same contest, 2 or 3 people. But in this game in particular, because it's at the forefront of our mind, you'd see DC running back with the flight, and you got Billy Frampton protecting him, Darcy Moore. If Billy Frampton's going back with it or going up for it, you've got players communicating and staying down in case the mark isn't taken, protecting Billy Frampton while as much as you can without giving away a free kick. So that was a really good observation, Kev. That's awesome.
Also, too, what a game from Scott Pendlebury as well. His ability to help out our defense as well and be that conductor like he was in the grand final. I think that's superb, really.
Unbelievable. Kev, I've got to keep it rolling. We've got quite a few more people waiting, so I appreciate you jumping on, mate.
All good, mate. Appreciate you a lot.
All right.
And also shout out
All
to Andreas, Black and White. Saw him after the game too.
He's the man. All right, get home
Yes.
safe.
Will do, mate. Bye.
Bye-bye. Nick,
Hey,
how you going?
not too bad. I also have some very interesting questions for everyone because this is we're talking about the Blues, so this is a really big occasion type of thing. You know what I mean?
Hit us with them. We want the hardest pressing questions.
So everyone in the comments, get the answers right. So back in the Nathan Buckley era, back in 2013. So I'm going to take you quite some journey back. How many goals did Elliott kicked in round 2? And secondly is what was the scoreboard in that round 2 against Carlton back in 2023?
2023. There you go. That's Nick trivia. Yeah. Greatness suggests 5 goals.
I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna answer anything. I'm gonna let you answer that for everyone. But I'll also talk.
I don't know the answer, mate. I'm
You
going
don't know
on
the
Google.
answer?
Jamie Elliott, 2013 round. You said 2013, yeah? He kicked 5, and we
2013.
downed the Blues
Yeah.
we beat the Blues by 17 points.
Yes. I just
Right?
want to play a little
Yeah,
game with
alright.
you guys and that.
Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah,
address
okay.
I'll address the I'll address the elephant in the room as well. Because I got a feeling that Houston's going to be on a bit of a 2-week holiday. So who do you think fills the role of Houston?
Hard to tell. Probably one of Fly's favorites, Markov. But the beauty is all those guys that are putting their hand up, TJ, Will Parker, Jacob Ryan, Markov, they're all going to be playing on Sunday in the VFL, and they're all going to have every chance to fulfill that position. So I think it's hard to put my finger on it. Do you have one player in mind?
This one player I really would like to see off the halfback, which he only had one game. But in the VFL he looks pretty good, and that would be Jacob Ryan.
His name certainly floated around a little bit. Josh Dacos mentioned him in a press conference late last week about his form. Who knows? I really think it's anyone's. Like Greatness said, Hoskin Elliott could come in as well. So that's another player that you just can't write off ever. He's always in the frame of selection, isn't he?
Yeah, I've been wondering when he might come in. I thought he might come in this week because He's been in the VFL, and we don't usually see that with Hoskin Elliott. So I thought surely if I would have picked him up by then. And yeah, and probably lastly but not least would be finally Schultz gets the respect that he deserves.
Yeah. Have you always been a fan of him since he came to the Pies?
Well, yeah. When we recruited him, I just like any Collingwood supporter would do. You would check out his highlights, back at Fremantle and all that. So he kind of reminds me of when I saw his highlights back then. He kind of reminded me of a Pat. I wasn't Patley from Sydney.
Papley, yeah.
Yeah, Papley.
A similar build, absolutely. Similar
So it was
build,
pretty exciting
except
to see him.
there you go.
So yeah, that's what I was expecting out of him. But we didn't have a good start to last year's season, so it was pretty disappointing to not see him deliver what I had a feeling he could. So I wasn't really a Lockie Schultz hate person. I was just a bit disappointed that we couldn't really see his full potential properly until late last season. So it's good to see that, as the commentator said, he's finding his way in the black and white. And I'm happy to see, because it was difficult for the voters to choose, and I was hoping that Lockie Schultz would be the winner on that one, because I already had a feeling that he would have won that one, because I'm like, surely he gets at least some respect that he deserves. And that third quarter, was brilliant, but fourth quarter was to me was kind of bad, because we kind of gave away a lot of silly free kicks, and stuff like that. So come next week, we really need to get our accuracy right, just like everybody else said, and also keep the other team to the sword, because we did not do that, and we were up by a fair bit in the third quarter, and we kept them scoreless for quite some time, which I'm very proud of the boys for, but not very proud of the fourth quarter. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, brilliant. Thanks, Nick. We're gonna keep it moving now. We've got a couple more to go, and then call it a night. I'm getting there. But thanks for joining us.
No worries. Have a nice night.
Thanks, mate. You too.
You too.
Mick. Loud and proud, huh? Got the Guernsey on?
Yeah, loud and proud, man. Loud and proud. That was a great win.
Yeah, 100%.
That was a great win.
Nothing better than getting one over your arch nemesis, huh?
Yeah, arguably you could say in this new era of footy, probably bigger than Essendon rivalry, maybe, probably. I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm respecting, or not respecting, but I'm appreciating the history of the club more, and in doing that, I've come across the Collingwood and Carlton rivalry a little bit more, and I'm looking at it through a different lens now. Whereas in years gone by, I'd be like, they're not really my rivals. Like I didn't see them dominate us, but no, like my parents and my grandparents had to live through what they had to endure when Carlton were the bee's knees, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna not kick them while they're down, or maybe I am, but I'm also gonna enjoy this as much as I can.
Yeah, nah, definitely. And yeah, everyone stood out. I think it was a bit different from my perspective. I think everyone stood out. Everyone played their part. Everyone played their role. Inaccuracies hurt, but that was towards third, and that was when it was pouring rain too. It was pouring then.
Yeah.
So we had to work against the
weather.
Home? Yeah, I watched it at home. The game I'm going to be going to, though, will be against Geelong, so that will be an interesting game. That's the game I'm going to be seeing.
They did a number on us last time we versed them as well at the G.
Last
Which is
time, but this time might be a bit different because Geelong looks a lot more different than they were even like last year or the year before that. This is different. Like, yeah, they're better with Bailey, but it's really hard to be confident right now as a Geelong supporter. And like I said before, my roommate's Geelong, and they're not too confident this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, yeah.
What are the overarching outcomes for you from this game, even if it's beyond the actual performances? Like, what are the thoughts that are sort of going through your mind right now?
Right now, we play Sydney. We got to beat Sydney. We're playing at our second home ground, in Adelaide. So I hope we can do with Sydney away. And then after that, it's Brisbane. That's going to be a big one. And then Essendon after that. So these are going to be 3 big games. That's what I'm looking at. To take away,
it's crazy
bro,
how
I think
we have to move, huh? It's crazy.
Yeah,
how
we
quickly
do.
have to move.
I think last year we relied too much on Nick Dacos. This year we still do a little, but it's not to the extent we did last year. This year we've got now players rising up. You got Lockie Schultz. I mean, this guy, like, now good luck trying to stop him and Nick Dacos. Then you got also like De Goey played really well, especially. Finally scored a goal when we were almost scoreless. And then also Pendles was good. Side bottom was amazing as well. Like, this guy was an absolute unit. Like, you had 2-3 Carlton players trying to tackle him, and all of a sudden he just runs through them all.
Mick,
and there were good breakthroughs.
You've just brought on a serious observation there that I want to put forward to the chat.
Yeah,
I know it's only been 3 games, guys.
Yeah,
and this is the best thing that could possibly happen to us if it's actually happening. Where's the poll? Are we becoming less dependent on Nick Dacos based on the first few games? Mate, that's a really good point. And like, I feel like maybe subconsciously we've all felt that, but you actually being able to speak it out, it's sort of like, oh, wait, hold on a minute. Like, he had some really good moments tonight, but it's like, wow, like, he's not. We don't need him. We haven't needed him to dominate just yet.
I don't want to say we don't need him. We still do. But like, Craig McRae's made this clear last year as well. Like, we got picked out. We got figured out, basically. Teams figured, okay, if we either tag or at least, shut Nick, even though he still played, it was one of his best performances. The team didn't, though, kind of level that out, and therefore we kind of just fell apart in 2024. Like, we were just short of the ladder. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what the comments say as well.
Greatness says, I'd say, yeah, but we still need him. We're not implying that. Yeah, let's just ship Nick Dacos to Carlton. I guess we're just saying it's good. It's a good thing that we're not like, latching onto him and hoping for dear life that he has 35 and 2. Like, he's not really hitting the scoreboard. Has he kicked a goal this year?
No, I think he has a few, maybe. I think 2 or 3. But yeah, I think it works to our advantage because I told my roommate, if Nick Dacos is not the focus, then that lets him play even a more greater game, I think. That's what I believe.
Yeah, well, it helps him get on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that incredible short spurt in that third quarter that really fast-tracked us to victory. That fourth quarter basically felt like it was nominally just a fourth quarter. That's all it was. Nominally, it was a fourth quarter by name, but by the reality of it, it was just like, all right, let's go out there. 25 minutes left. Don't be silly. It's wet. You're up by however many goals. We're up 4.5 goals at that point. It's like, it's almost a foregone conclusion at that point.
I mean, my roommate even thought like if Collingwood, play like this in finals, then this is not really a premiership team. But I said, 2023 was like that. Plus, on top of that, this is like a rival game for us. It's different if Geelong play Carlton because they're definitely confident to kind of smash them. But for us, it's different because Carlton love to beat on us. They try to. They've been trying this year, but they haven't. And it's weird how some teams play their best against us, and then other teams they play, they just either don't or they do even better. That's what makes us actually interesting as well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Mick,
Yeah.
I've got to keep it rolling. I've got 2 more people after you. Thanks for sticking around, and as always, we love having you on, mate.
Yeah, see you, man.
See you, Mick. Go Pies.
Go forward.
Great man, the great man. All right, we've got Boomer.
Hey, can you hear me, my friend? Can you hear me, my friend?
Loud and clear.
Excellent.
Copy.
Excellent to hear. Bit of the latency with the country. I noticed before with our New Zealand friend and also with Andreas. All you guys, I got to say, you're an awesome little community. I feel so privileged to be part of this. But anyway, I'm going to say this season so far has been the bad, the good, the ugly, and the sweet. Because the bad was obviously GWS. The good was Port Adelaide. We put them on there. We crushed their throat. We killed them. Then, of course, the Bulldogs. We won ugly, but we won it. Tonight, well, Carlton are magnificent. They're a great team if the game only went for 2 halves. Unfortunately, it didn't. Now, we only kicked, 1 goal, 6 in the second quarter, and that was a bit tricky. That was hard for us, but we actually stopped Carlton from being magnificent up until half-time. Of course, here's something I've got to point out, and you guys mentioned this rivalry. Now, I have felt the Carlton rivalry. Back in 87, when they bought a flag, right, they appeared out of nowhere. After I'd seen us lose 4 or 5 grand finals to North Melbourne, to Richmond, to Carlton twice. Dude, they are pricks when they are such bad winners. They're worse than us. I thought we were bad winners, but they are the worst. Then it comes into the 90s. We fucking shake the collywobbles with 1990. It gets to 1993. We finish equal first with fucking Geelong, Footscray and us all on 5 and 15 wins. Right, 15 wins rather. For us to be eliminated because they had this shitty final 6 system. We then went to the fucking wooden spoon in 97, 98-ish. And all I ever heard of was Carlton supporters fucking rubbing it in. And Elliott mouthing off, throwing money around the club, buying flags. They cheated on their 95 flag. And I'll say that, sorry, Pom, but you guys fucking cheated for that 16th flag. And it didn't get taken away from you like Melbourne Storm. Then what happens? We hit our wooden spoon.
For those who don't...
Yeah.
Sorry, Boomer. For those born beyond 97, like myself, could you just explain that to me quickly?
Well, the 95 flag, they actually cheated on the salary cap to get that flag. And Melbourne Storm did the same thing, and they lost their flag. So that 16th flag, they say 16 is better, and I'm getting to that. When they say 16 was better back in 2011 when we were celebrating our 15th flag, their 16th flag was a cheating flag. Okay, so it didn't sit well with me. But what happened is, of course, Essendon were accusing, Carlton and Elliott were accusing Essendon of cheating on the salary cap when they were winning their 2000 flag. And yet Essendon didn't cheat on their salary cap. Carlton did. And then Carlton copped all those penalties and then got their 5 wooden spoons. We got our second wooden spoon in 97, and all those Carlton guys with Carlton and Parkin and their great tactics, which they did have, they had zone defence and everything. They were a fucking good side in the 90s, middle of the 90s, but of course they had a pay they had a pay opening. Anyway, the way that went, they were accusing us, then suddenly they fell out of favour and we started fighting with Brisbane because Brisbane were winning 3-peats whilst getting salary cap stuff. So anyway, with me, the hurt of Carlton, they bought a flag in 87. They went into the woodwork until 94, 95. Suddenly they're out of the woodwork. They're rubbing it into our face. Then in 2011, when they put up that 16 is better, oh, yeah, well, 16 is better, guys. You're fucking right, because we've got 16 now and we're about to get 17. So fuck you, Blues. I know about the old suburban rivalry, and fuck you with a big fucking stick. I'm glad you went down tonight. I'm fucking glad whenever you guys get beaten, because I still fucking hate you with a passion. And that's it, guys. Anyway, that'll have my say. Cheers. I hope you
And they're
enjoyed all
16th
that.
on the ladder, Boomer.
Yeah, isn't that fucking cool? But anyway, look, the good thing about the game tonight is we changed that round where no team scored in the half in the rain. If we could only have kicked a few more goals, look, that's something we can work on. And that's cool. That third quarter was sensational. But why is it we're so smart? We are too smart in that sense. We let off the gas. I know we're conserving energy. It's like a good Formula One driver. You know, he backs off the car. He doesn't keep it flat to the floor. But do you see that as a really interesting thing? And look, Lockie Schultz is now Lockie Schultz. He's shooter. He's not Ginivan, because that's where everyone was. He replaced Ginivan and whatever. I tipped him to have a big game in the first round this season, so I was 4 behind. But shooter come across good tonight. Who else? Pendles, mate. I mean, you're going to hit a time where in probably 2-3 years' time, he's going to retire. And I reckon there's going to be 1 million magpie tears flooding Australia that day. I reckon I'll be crying when the day Pendles leaves. What do you think? Can you imagine Collingwood without Pendlebury?
Yeah, I reckon this Ferrari over here, he might just have a couple easy weeks on the track just to get him to the final dance that might be this year. I mean, look, he could come through next year and try and break that record, but if he wins that flag this year, I reckon that's the cue in Iraq, isn't it?
It is. Oh, of course, that would be sensational for him to get 3 with Steelo. I mean, him and Rusty, they would have such good records. Also, coming up, I need to draw attention. Sorry to hog the floor, but you love it. It's been a while. We've now got Sydney, of course. We then have Brisbane up there. That's going to be a tricky one. And then we have Anzac Day, which is always going to be a tricky one. And then I think the following week, if my math is correct, Crispy breaks the record. He either has the record or he doesn't against Geelong. That's what I think by my calculations. So Jack Crisp could be celebrating the most played consecutive game player, beating Jim Stein's record at the Geelong game after Anzac Day. So there's another one for our record books.
He's a soldier within his own right, isn't he, Jack Crisp?
Yeah. And look, the thing of it tonight, yes, we are definitely less reliant on Nick Dacos, and that's the way I like it. I'm thinking now, the way we're going, it's a good game plan. Sly and Spook, shout out to Sly and Spook, and also Pom in Oz. You're doing a great job on your content and your reviews, Pom in Oz. I love your shit. You are elite class. You are better than Channel 7, mate. I love your reviews, even when you're doing Carlton. But anyway, and Sly and Spook have pointed this out. I don't know about it, but they're saying, how is McRae as a tactical coach? And he doesn't appear to be much chop in it. He's not as good as Malthouse, sort of thing. But then, if a coach doesn't make tactical changes, is that still good coaching if you're winning games? It's always a tricky one. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Fly is a strategic and a people person, but do you think he's a tactical coach like, say, Sam Mitchell?
He's probably not as cerebral as a Sam Mitchell. I think Fly is more a people's person. Even at training, he's really given the reins to Jordan Rufford, Josh Fraser, Boydie, and Selwood, and Skipworth. Like they've been running the most part of it. I think Fly's a very, very good. He's just good at collaborating with people and bringing ideas together and feeding off other people's ideas. As many times he's already referred to in conferences and interviews about how he's always looking to get someone like Pendlebury, getting his opinion and running with that before he considers even his own judgments in regards to decisions that he should or shouldn't make.
And that's a good boss does that. You know, like someone like Richard Branson probably doesn't micromanage all 200 companies he's got. He puts in good staff, pays them well, and lets them do their stuff. And that's a good business plan, and Fly is definitely there. But what I'm thinking is there are certain players come and go and certain stuff we don't see. Like we had a bit of a problem. It looked a bit toxic earlier this year at Magpie HQ. You remember with Craig Kelly and I don't know Graham Roddy not coming back, and it looked a bit holy shit. What's going on here? But it seems to have gone by the wayside now. Would you agree?
You know
there?
what's happening, Boomer? You know what's happening? So first we sent Scotland, then we sent Daisy, and I might be missing someone else, and now we've sent Graham Wright to Carlton, and then they've all conspired against the Navy Blues. And Malthouse.
and Malthouse as well.
I don't know why they keep taking these guys who have won flags and done good things for the black and white. I mean, you shoot yourself in the foot by bringing. Have we as a club brought anyone over from Carlton in like a playing personnel?
Well, we had Brendan Bolton. Is that his name? Brendan Bolton. He was one of our coaching staff last year. Yeah, he's gone now.
Yeah. What about personnel though?
Oh, I'm trying to think. That is a tricky one. But look, something you do bring up, and you guys as content creators, I understand you're kind of the media and you do need to draw attention, but there's a thing I call contractual contractions, whereby a player who puts his contractual obligations on hold tends to suffer in form. Notable players in the past have been Daisy Thompson and Travis Cloke, and their form goes shit, and then they have no fucking market value because they're not kicking any fucking goals or doing their job, and then their player manager said, well, we can't get any more money because you're not performing, and then there's performance anxiety, and I hope Bobby Hill's not suffering the same contractual contractions they get, because that's a bad thing. It fucks your game up. It's best to be relaxed to play well. On that note too. So also, if you could do something wonderful in father-son combinations, because we've got some beauties at Collingwood, obviously the Dacos boys. We also have Reece and Tony Shaw's sons, as in Tony and Ray Shaw's sons, as in Reece and Heater. Yeah, there's also the Gavin Brown kids who didn't actually do that well with us. So there's actually, I think, Collingwood's father-son stuff, and you could go back to like Darcy Moore, of course. His dad was he a famous runners-up medal he threw away apparently, and like Ray Shaw was a captain of Collywobbles, whereas Tony Shaw stopped the Collywobbles. And I think there's a beautiful thing about club history for Britannia Football Club, that you could weave your magic with a documentary on the father-sons and how it works out, but doesn't always work out. And I'm sure there's others in there. I think someone Loney or Craig Davies, Leon Davies, no. Yeah, there's a few in there anyway. But anyway, I do digress. I think back to our game tonight. You know how everyone talks about back players? I think back lines aren't really players anymore when you do your reviews. I think the back line is systems and whatever. You know, you look at Hawthorn and there's Battle and all those guys. Like, they don't all have individual high-performance games, but you said it tonight. They appear to be talking. There's one up and one down, and one supporting, and Darcy Moore's getting his feet back. Who else? Just generally our backline's looking more stable, and I don't know, it's a hard place to get the ball through now, and Carlton couldn't do it tonight, could they?
No, it's exactly what we were hoping for. Communication, being able to set up well ahead of the ball, win the contest initially, and pressure at the contest. It's really simple. Like, you guys are going to be sick of hearing me talk about how Collingwood need to go about winning the game, because the blueprint is simple, and I'm just going to repeat it over and over again. So I do apologize if I sound repetitive sometimes, but
you definitely dude. I love your stuff. And look, mate, I'm not going to hog the airwaves anymore. I'm going to move aside for the next person. I've got a little 20-second poem for you guys, which I'm sure you'll all love as magpies. But it goes something like this: too old and too slow, and down the ladder they say we'll go, according to Kingy and Keynesy and Oppo fans. But hang on, guys, it's not in your fucking hands. We're not going to say it's in the bag, but we're having a red hot crack at this 95 flag. This 25 flag. So, as it goes, what's the game plan of this Collingwood guacamole? And just sit back and enjoy this fucking year, goal by fucking goal. Go Pies, and peace out, people. Love you all, and I hope to speak to you soon again. Anthony, it's always a pleasure. Go Pies, and fuck you Blues, and fuck you more. See ya.
You're a superstar, Boomer. Oh God. All right, we got one more, but I need a breath for a second. That was unreal. Boomer, that poem. That's just another man that loves the Collingwood Football Club, and that's what it comes down to, guys. Absy,
Hey, how you going?
good mate. Thanks for waiting. How you going?
Good. How am I supposed to follow that up?
Nah, you're good, mate. You do you be you.
All right. That was good. Good to beat Carlton. That's always a good thing, isn't it?
It's one of the best things you can experience in the month of April.
Yep. On a Thursday night.
On a Thursday night. Would you do it again?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I don't mind them. I don't mind Thursday nights. It's good. But obviously you prefer, Friday night because at least you don't have work the next day.
True.
Yeah.
Head out, have a drink. But you come to the post game show first, then go out and have a drink.
That's it, mate. That's it.
What are your thoughts on the game?
Yep. I felt like we just needed to kick straighter. That's it. We would have broken them if we just nailed a few more of those goals, those behinds. They would have given up. We would have ran away with it. We would have won by 10 goals, I reckon. Because we were doing everything right, around the ground. It was just we just weren't finishing our work. And a couple of times we missed a couple of easy chances, and I felt like maybe we dropped our heads a bit, and then they went and got like an easy one. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. So what I would say about that is there was that. Who was it? There was a moment where we had like an assertion in the game and had a dominant period, and then they sort of rebounded from their back half. That's right. My check missed hit the post right in front. Reminded me, reminiscent of GWS, right? But yeah, Carlton aren't GWS. I think we've learned our lesson, and it's a good problem. I feel like we have two problems right now.
Yep.
Well, three. We got three problems.
Mm-hmm.
We got Dan Houston, who's going to Bali with maybe Geordie DeGoey if he wants to have a little rest over the next couple of weeks, and then the other problem is we have a selection dilemma because we have almost a full bill of a clean slate, and then the other problem is we're just a little bit inaccurate in front of goals at the moment. Sounds like good problems.
Yeah, that's true. They're problems we could fix, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bit of
if you can fix running out the game.
I got a bit of an unpopular opinion actually that I wanted to share with you.
Please do.
So we were talking about earlier about Ned Long being the sub and who can be the sub instead. What about Beau McCreary? Because I don't think he's been doing enough, me personally. What do you reckon?
I always find these, the pressure forwards, the high half forwards, like if they don't hit the stat sheet, which Beau McCreary hardly ever does, you'll see a lot of people get upset pretty quickly when you talk about potentially dropping them or subbing them. To be fair, Beau has been a sub before, and he's maybe been dropped once or twice in his career. Without looking at the numbers, I usually save that for the next day, looking at the stats. I think Beau was underwhelming tonight. I'd have to watch the game back as well because I'll watch his extended player highlights on the AFL app. If for those who don't know, you can do that and see what he did. But I think that's a decent shout as well.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm not saying he's been like terrible, but Ned Long's been pretty good in the minutes that he's played. So I just think he deserves a bit more. And I think someone's got to make way for him. Another one of those good problems to have, I guess. Yeah. The other option would be maybe Bobby Hill.
That's a rational opinion. That's just an honest, reality of maybe we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying sack Beau. It's just like maybe just put Beau as a sub and see if that lights a fire up his backside and he comes in and does a little bit more. What we asking
Well-
about Lockie Schultz last year? A little bit more. We just wanted a little bit more
Yeah.
from Lockie, and we're getting that and more this year.
Exactly.
That's what we're hoping both
Exactly.
do at some point.
Exactly. And I actually think it might suit Bo as well because he's got the speed. Like, imagine him coming on in the fourth quarter where everyone's a bit tired and got heavy legs, and he just comes on with his super speed.
Is he not
could-
the
could
epitome
work.
of a super sub?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he can.
Alright.
He could be something. We might be onto something here.
This is why share all your opinions, good, bad, ugly, fair, unfair, rash, whatever it needs to be. Like, this is an open forum. Like, I do my best on this channel to not like silence anyone. Like, if you have an opinion, and I've said some things against the Collingwood Football Club. Like, I remain impartial for a reason. If I disagree or don't like something about someone or something, I'll say it. And I expect you guys to do the same and to call me out if you don't feel like you agree with me, and we can still be friends after. I don't get emotional with that.
That's it. No, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're all Collingwood supporters and we all want the team to get better at the end of the day. You know?
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Absy, a lot of people might come at me about Billy Frampton. I'm watching this, guys. Here's me, right? I'm watching this game tonight, and I see Billy's on early. I'm like, Billy's on here. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I'm pretty sure 4 weeks ago I made a title. Billy Frampton. We cannot win a flag without Billy Frampton or Charlie Dean in our team. And here I am today thinking, oh, God, I went the early crow there, didn't I? But I'll own it. Like, I don't want Billy Frampton to suck. I want him to be, if he's going to be in our team, I want him to be great. But that's how I felt at that time. And hey, if he wins another flag or takes us deep with the way he was playing tonight, hey, egg on my face, man. I'll wear it. I don't care if it means I'll wear the egg on my face if I get to wear the medal around my neck.
Yep, same. I mean, if Bo McCreary comes out next week and kicks 5 goals, I wouldn't mind. You know,
I'll let them egg me, man. I'll let them do it to me as many as they want.
Yeah, that's it, mate. On a more positive note, I think Darcy Cameron's a superstar. He's probably the best ruckman, I reckon. He's up there with Gawn and is it Cherry, the North player?
Yeah. Cherry.
Yeah, I reckon he's up there with them.
I think we touched on him very early in this show, Darcy Cameron. At the game, I felt like TDK didn't have much of an impact, and I felt like DC was like he was a force field in the defensive half in the air. He sort of just quelled any sort of dangerous balls coming into our defensive 50, and I was having nightmares about the prospect of TDK taking a center clearance and running out of there on his own and just finding a target inside 50, because he did that against Footscray a couple of times. So I was like, oh man, this guy's just different.
Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah, he's a good player.
Didn't happen.
Nah. And it was good to see also Darcy Moore get his run back, because I think that's what he's been missing a little bit. You know, he gets the ball and he just goes on a run. You know, he did it a couple of times today, and I felt like he kind of lost that a little bit. He lost that dare a little bit, which kind of, I don't know. I think if he can do that a bit more often, I think that'd be good. What do you think of his game?
Good. I've been harsh on him with the amount of spoils he would have in a game, because I felt like there were times he could have taken a mark. Tonight was a night where he sort of got warm by having some really effective spoils where I don't think he could have marked it if he had tried. And then in that third quarter and the fourth quarter where we were really structurally sound behind the ball, I think that's where he took a lot of his intercept marks. But the spoils set up the confidence to take those intercept marks later in the game. I don't often say that about spoils. Usually if you're spoiling it, I'm like, why don't you just try mark it? But there are situations where that's not possible. And his decision making was elite today. It's good.
It was. Yeah, he was good. He was really good. Yeah, no, it was not too much we can complain about, I guess. I mean, I think the Carlton supporters are gonna be pretty pissed tonight. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. You know, even the usual suspects that usually smash us didn't really do much. Cripps didn't do a lot. Kerno didn't do a lot. So, yeah, even Wiedering didn't dominate like he usually does in the back line. They got some real problems, haven't they?
They do. When like their superstar, if their superstars aren't doing anything, then geez, like they're in strife. Look, that's their problem. We're 3-1. We're 3-1, and we're still getting things right.
Yes. Yeah. We still got a few more tough games coming up. If we can just continue winning, get a couple more wins on the board, we can really set up our season. You know, because I think after like that Geelong game, I think we get a couple of sort of quote unquote easy games. I know there's no easy games, but you know what I mean. Sort of lower on the ladder teams, which will, we can really push our way up the ladder. Cement our spot, maybe. I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but yeah. No, it's getting a bit excited about this year. I wasn't really too sure at the beginning. I was like, it was kind of a weird feeling going into this year because it's like, you win the premiership one year and then you don't make the 8 the next, and it's just like, I don't know what was going to happen this year.
It was a dangerous fixture to start off with.
That's what I'm saying as well.
3-1. And my last question before we end this, Absy, is the next few fixtures at the very least in Brisbane, Sydney, Essendon, Geelong. For me, I fancy us against every one of those teams. I think we're in with a shot against all of them. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah. Probably the hardest one will be the Brisbane game. But I think Sydney in Adelaide, neutral ground, I think we can beat them. Essendon, I think we should beat them. And Geelong, I think we can beat them as well. Brisbane will probably be, like I said, the hardest game out of those 4. But, we beat them. We've had the wood on them last couple of times, I guess. So I think we've beat them, 2-3 times in a row now, Brisbane. So, yeah, I actually think you're right. Yeah, I think we could win all 4.
Yeah. Sydney becomes increasingly more important right now because you'd want to go in against Brisbane with a 4-1 record for the obvious reason that it's probably going to be the most toughest fixture out of all of them, just based on level of difficulty and where they're all at the moment. So let's go in at 4-1 as opposed to 3-2, because then your back's against the wall 3-2, looking at 3-3. It's not the end of the world, but it's just obviously 4-1 going into that game is a lot better than any other hypothetical.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, Sydney next week's going to be an interesting one. I mean, we seem to always play them at the SCG, which obviously we struggle at that ground. So getting them at a neutral ground, I think, and we seem to play good in Adelaide. I think we seem to have a good record there.
Well. Yep.
Yeah. So I like our chances.
Yeah. All right, Absy, you brought forth some really good ideas and opinions and conversations, so I appreciate that, man. To finish off.
No, mate. Anytime. You're doing a good job, mate.
All right, brother.
Lives.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Nah. You guys make the show, not me. So I appreciate it.
All good.
All right,
Absy, mate.
Take care.
Well, go Pies. Cheers.
All right, ladies and gents. I thank you all. I'm very well aware this is a Thursday night. So I thank you all for making it through to 12:45 if you guys got work tomorrow. Thank you so much. And go Pies.